Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so today is the Lamrim class. Each time when we attend any Dharma classes, we must have a right motivation at the beginning of the principle of the three principal aspect of the path is saying, listen with a clear mind. You are a fortunate one, right? So whenever you listen the teaching from any masters, any gurus, any lamas, first you listen with the pure motivation, which is talking about, three folds of the vessel. If you listen the teaching without having, concentration, then you cannot understand, you really, don't understand the meaning. Even though you fully concentrate to listen the teaching, if you have a kind of bad motivation, the teaching cannot be benefit for you. Yes, you have a good, concentration to listening teaching. You have a, pure and good motivation. If you don't, memorize all the meaning, and also the teaching become useless. So we must listen the teaching with the concentration, with the good motivation, and try to digest the meaning as much as we can. Then next time when the Lamrim is not with us, but we have the meaning, so very easy to apply your day-to-day life. So this is Lamrim. First you're talking about motivation. Second, you talk about renunciation. Then how to renounce. Renounce about this life, renounce about next life, they renounce about the second existence. Then after you meditate on all the sufferings, finally you can generate the renunciation. Although you turn in renunciation in the mind of bodhicitta, so you fully able to generate renunciation, bodhicitta. Then if you don't realize the emptiness, then even though you cannot, you have renunciation, you have bodhicitta, but you cannot achieve Buddhahood because you cannot cut the root of samsara. That's why in the six paramita, Tsongkhapa explained first five paramita, and particularly the last two paramitas. Okay. So we have a Lamrim class for almost 2.5 years, almost 3 years. The Lamrim we learn because not we want to educate it about Dharma. We learn Lamrim only just one purpose, which is want to practice. So make sure you always have this mind. So why we need to practice Dharma? Why we need to practice Lamrim? Because we are not happy at all in samsara. So think about, in this life, Singapore is one of the richest country, one of the clean nation, one of the developed country. If you look around in Singapore, if you look around Singaporean, you cannot see Singaporean is one of the clean country. Yeah, externally you can see it quite clean. But if you look at the internal world in Singaporean, you can see 24 hours their mind is totally polluted by attachment, desire, anger, hatred, ignorance. Lot of negative thoughts, lot of afflictive minds. So how we can be happy this life? Because all the suffering which we have everything arising from within our mind, we must recognize, I want to practice Buddha Dharma, I want to practice Lamrim because I am not happy at all, even though I was, we were born in Singapore, one of the clean, developed, country, but you can see you are not happy at all because all the suffering which we have is arising within us. So the main Lamrim study is only to subdue all the bad thoughts, all the funny thoughts. We can use the Singapore English, the very funny thoughts. Yeah, because one day, Pauline, the girl, she called in TBC office. She wants to see me, and I told her, okay, so before you come to see me, I want to chit-chat with you by phone, make sure we know each other. So when we really met each other, there won't be any kind of, problems. So I talked a few times on the phone. Then finally she came to see me few times. So after meeting a few times, she was totally okay. And she said, all the funny thoughts, like doing like this. Because of course, everybody has so many different thoughts. First, we must know why we need to study Dharma, why we need to study Lamrim, why we need to practice, Mahayana path. So, within one day, so we just put, the essence of the Lamrim in one day practice. When you woke up, of course, you have a lot of thoughts to do today or tomorrow. But when you woke up, you just feel, I'm so lucky, I'm still alive. Since yesterday, let's say, you slept maybe 10 o'clock till 7:30, how many people dead? How many people lost life? So I'm one of the fortunate person because I'm still alive. I can breathe, I can see, I can feel. I'm so lucky I'm still alive. Also, there are no guarantee you can, you will have a time to go bed. Maybe in the evening you will be in the coffin. We don't know. You will be in the evening. You will be in hospital. We never know. Then if you think this way, then you can see, oh, what I should do if I die tonight, if I die tomorrow, what should I do? I should practice Dharma. Then when you think about Dharma, as some Buddhists, we have three kinds of practice of Dharma. One practice of the small being path, middle being path, a great being path. Then you just think about which one is stable for you. Then finally, you should think, I must practice the great path, which is Bodhisattva path, which is Bodhicitta. Then, so you generate renunciation, Bodhicitta. Then after you have a short time meditation on Bodhicitta, then you should think only Bodhicitta, only practice of Bodhicitta, can I achieve Buddhahood or not? Then you should think, yes, I cannot, because only I practice Bodhicitta, I can accumulate, the methods merit within the, one of the merit, not true. Then what should I do in order to accumulate two types of merit? I must practice emptiness. I must realize emptiness. Then you just try to understand emptiness. That means you try to understand how things are exist, how things are, there. Then when you think about grossly, you can think that things are exist from the object side. Things are exactly, look like from there. Then you do short analytical meditation, how things are exist. Then finally you're going to understand nothing exists solidly, independently, inherently. Everything is empty of inherent existence. Then include me, my possession, my possessions, all phenomena, totally empty of inherent existence. Just do meditation emptiness, conjoined with the bodhicitta and great compassion. Then, in order to further develop the bodhicitta and renunciation, then you must take a vows. There are 3 types of vows. First, pratimokkha vows. There are 8 different levels, different types. Then bodhicitta, bodhisattva vows. Then vajrayana vows. In order to take bodhisattva vows, there's a true tradition. One say you must take one of the pratimokkha vows within the 8. That means you must take, as a lay person, you must take, layperson vows, which have 5 precepts. If you cannot take 5 precepts, you must take one of the 5, right? One of the 5. Somebody think, I cannot, take the vows. It's so difficult to maintain the vows, the precepts. Think about, within the 5, what are they? Killing, you should have a commitment, not killing human being. If you could, you should not killing any sentient beings. Of course, you're not going to kill human being. If you kill human being, finally, you know the consequence. Anyway, you're not going to kill human. Now, usually, you won't steal the valuable object. Then liar, lying. Of course, lay person, most of the Singaporean Buddhists, I don't think they have this type of liar. But I know some of Singaporean has again, very funny thoughts. There's somebody say, oh, look like they have particular kind of ability to see things. They think they have, some kind of, they can see Buddha. They will tell you, I see Amida Buddha, I see, Manjushri. Otherwise, normal, Singapore, I don't think, you have this kind of big lying. Then, the number 4th, sexual misconduct. If you already married, then I don't think you're going to go with other, person. As a husband, I don't think you won't go with other lady. As a lady, won't go with other men. So if you want, because after you married, if you're a married person, you are looking happy life. So in order to have a happy life, the healthy relationship is very important between the couple. If your relation is not healthy, then definitely the family is not happy family. So after you married, if you're married, you should maintain the healthy relationship. The healthy relationship can have only when you abandon the sexual misconduct. Now, if you are not married person, even though you go with someone, I don't think it's considered to have a sexual misconduct. Then look at it, it's very simple. The difficult one, drinking alcohol. You can avoid the drinking alcohol. In the past years, all the alcoholic, I don't know that the rum or beer or so in Ladakh we have simple, just chang, make of, it's made of barley. Very simple. They cook the barley, they add some kind of, I think, substance, keep in few days under the grass. It's become very warm. They put in the pot, add water, not the exact water. If the drink is you're actually healthy, there's no any chemical which is really harm for you, right? Nowadays, look at, we don't know what kind of brand we have. Maybe over 100 brand of alcohol. very harmful for you. Why not you just avoid the alcohol? It's good for your health, also good for your family. If the husband is always drunk, then there's always argument with the wife, argument with the friends and family. If the wife always drunk and always argue with the husband and family, drinking alcohol is not really healthy. Also, it's against with the religion, against with the Buddha Dharma, is against with the human society. So in the future, if there's opportunity to take a vows, layperson vows, you must check. When somebody think, after I've taken the vows, if I cannot maintain, what the consequence? So if you first try, then you cannot maintain the vows, then next time you say, I'm sorry, I cannot take it. First you try. Then based on the layperson vows, then you must take Bodhisattva vows, because you want to practice the Bodhisattva path. You want to practice the Mahayana path. So among the Vajrayana vows, Bodhisattva vows, Pratimokkha vows, first and last, before you taking the vows, you're not allowed to study. But Bodhisattva vows, before you take the vows, you have a right to study. You can thoroughly study, what are the vows, how I can maintain. Finally, if you study very thoroughly, then you think I could, then you must check the vows, Bodhisattva vows. Then Vajrasattva vows is a bit difficult, but quite difficult to check, also quite difficult to maintain the Vajrasattva vows. But most of us very happy to take the initiation. Not only initiation, higher Tantrayana initiation, higher, right? Then that's why I hope many gurus says, okay, now if you want to take Vajrasattva vows, then you are allowed to take the 4 initiation. If you're not taking the Vajrasattva vows, then you are not allowed to take the higher Tantra initiation. Then this is big question. This is really big question, because many of us, we receive initiation from many masters. After receive the initiation, we cannot do the daily sadhana. Of course, just don't think about practice of the 2 stages. The number 1, we cannot do the sadhana every day properly, seriously. Then actually there's no really point to take the initiation. In the future, if somebody going to give you higher Tantra initiation, you just sit there, just at the beginning you just sit, listen the teaching. Actually when the giving, at the moment of giving empowerment, you should not stay there, because you're not going to practice, you're not going to receive initiation. So very careful with the Vajrasattva teaching. Then after you fully has taken the Bodhisattva vows, then you need to practice the 6 paramitas. 6 paramitas. Because all the Bodhisattva deeds, all the Bodhisattva practices are included into the 6 paramitas. Also it include into the 2 types of practice of accumulation merit, methods merit, and wisdom merit. But the best one, we try to include all the Bodhisattva practice into 6 paramitas. The 6 paramita as well as 6 prajna paramitas. In order to have a prajna paramitas, definitely you must have a good understanding of emptiness. Otherwise, your practice never be practice of 6 prajna paramitas. Then, so before start the sixth paramita, we already learn how we can practice uniquely wisdom and methods. So, since we practice the Mahayana path, since we practice the Lamrim, all your practice you must conjoin with the bodhicitta and renunciation, emptiness, particularly bodhicitta, great compassion. For example, this morning, we had done the Thara Puja. I hope, I ask you to do proper motivation. Even though when you recite just one, time the mantra Om Tare Dudare Dure Swaha, just reciting one mantra based on, conjoined with the bodhicitta, the power is, the recitation become very powerful, very benefit. If you just recite the mantra, not having any sense of, bodhicitta, renunciation, then you are just reciting the mantra as a parrot, right? Parrot. If you teach parrot can recite the mantra. So we know how to conjoin, your practice with the bodhicitta, renunciation. That's why just simple practice. Even though you recite, one time Manipeme or runs one time, Heart Sutara, first you generate bodhicitta, great compassion, bodhicitta, renunciation. Then within the, having the mind of bodhicitta, then you recite the, Manipeme, you can recite the mantra of Thara, you can just lit a light, just burn a stick. It's really, this become very pure, practice of Mahayana, practice of Lamrim. So when we study Lamrim, we know we must do this and that. Actually, when we practice, we forgot to apply the Lamrim in our daily practices. So 6 paramitas. So within the 6 paramitas, the first 5 are very easy to understand. There's not, I don't think there's a lot of difficulties to understand. That last 2, Prajna Paramita of concentration, Prajna Paramita of wisdom is very difficult. That's why, Lama Tsongkhapa spent a lot of time to introduce the last 2 paramitas, which is concentration and wisdom. Okay, now I hope all of you remember the heading number 3 has a 2, right? How to practice. So before we actually start the class, I will do the short revision. Taking the vows, fixed number of my Okay, so you don't have to look at book, you just listen. Actually, page number 103. How to train after taking the vows. Vows. This is talking about the Bodhisattva vows. This means just, suppose, you generate renunciation, bodhicitta, you just, imagine you realize emptiness. Then, you need to take a vows. You can take the Bodhisattva vows from the gurus or from the inner of the, Buddha. Then you must know, if you want to take the vows from the guru, what are the procedures. And also you must know, if you want to take the Bodhisattva vows in front of the Buddha, you also must know what are the procedure. Then what the precepts are based upon, how all precepts are included in the 6 perfections. Then number 3, the process of learning the perfections, very important, right? After you taking the vows, then so we need to practice the Bodhisattva's deeds, Bodhisattva practices. So what are the basis of the practices? That means there are so many practices of Bodhisattvas, but all include into six prajnana paramitas. Okay, six prajnana paramitas. Then, how all precepts are included? How all the Bodhisattvas practices, how we can include it in the six paramita, six perfections. Then, how to learn the process of learning of perfection. Then, so how all the Bodhisattva practices include into six paramitas. It is a six, right? The fixed number of perfections based on high status. That means in order to achieve, high like a level of life, you need to practice six paramitas. Right, six paramitas. Then it explains one by one why you need to practice the ethical discipline, why you need to practice generosity. Then fixed number of perfection based on the highest status. That means in order to practice the Dharma, you need how many excellence? 4 excellence. Okay, that's good. Okay, without you're looking, can you explain, can you tell me the number are? Excellence of the source, excellence of the body, then excellence companion, excellence of work that accomplish. Now look at, so look at, for example, let's say I want to practice, Lamrim, I want to practice Dharma. First what you need the excellent resource. So because you need a house, definitely you need a food, you need a clothes, you need a healthy body. How we can have an excellent source? Practice of generosity. If you practice generosity every day, definitely you will have the excellent resource in next life. Then second one, excellent of body. That means you can see in Singapore some families are very rich. They have everything. They have more than enough. But the people who are born in the family, they are not healthy. Right? They have a lot of physical problems. You have seen many your friends or families or your friends and relatives or your neighbors. They are very wealthy. They have everything, but their children are not that physically healthy. So how you can have physically healthy? How you can have an excellent body? Practice of ethical discipline. Discipline, very important. Excellent body is not talking about attractive and beautiful body. It's talking about a healthy body. You won't have a disease and sickness. Even though you have a lot of resource, you have everything, you everything which you need, but you are always sick, then you cannot practice Dharma. Then you must have an excellent body. Then all of you have an excellent resource. Do you have? Don't. Okay lah. Right? Yeah. You should not say I don't have. Actually, you have more than enough excellent resource. But you must content, which you have. That's why I told you, you think I'm, no. You think I don't have enough money, don't have enough clothes. You just compare with, I told you, the children, the family who are born in part of India, part of Africa, part of Malaysia, part of Indonesia. Compare with them, you have more than enough resource. Do you have an excellent body? Yes, you have. You have, because you have your body is very healthy, and you have a mentally very healthy. You should not think I'm physically not healthy, but I have some problem here, there. Everybody does. Even though you see the doctor, he's the one of the best doctor. If you ask doctor, do you have any problem? Doctor will tell, I have a problem here and there, right? You should not think there's one person who has a completely healthy body. Everybody does, some problem here and there. You should not think. You should think, I have an excellent resource. I have an excellent body. Then, excellent component. This I'm not sure. Huh? Yeah. Of course, living in the society, living in the family, some problem here and there. You should not think those are not, healthy, component. You should think there's healthy component. That means, you have an excellent resource, you have an excellent body, which is able to do practice of Dharma, which is able to listen the Dharma. Then, if you don't have an excellent component, like a friends or family or husband and wife, then this was problem. Then number 4, work that you are able to accomplish. That means, so excellent component, result of what? Practice of patience. Practice of patience is the, if you practice, ethically discipline, you have an excellent body. If you practice generosity, you have an excellent resource. If you practice the patience, you have an excellent, component. Even though this life, next one, then work that you are able to accomplish is resource of what? Joyousness, joyous perseverance, right? That means even the thing in this life, if the person always act, have a ethical discipline, you can see some of your friends have always good, moral conduct. They always act ethically. The people has a less problem. Less problem. Just think about this life. You don't think about previous and next life. Like, if the person has always be patient, the person has a less enemy. Am I right? Enemy. Be patient. But also you must know how to be patient. If you say, I'm practicing patience, and somebody, hits you on your head, you should not say, I'm practicing patience. You should not say that. They will chop off your head. That's why patience means, you must know how to be patient. Patient with the wisdom. Okay? Ethical discipline with the wisdom. That's why I told you always, between you and mine, we must bring the wisdom in between. Patience, right? The generosity, for example, you always, you are the person who always like to give things to others. Then, when the people have something, they will share with you, right? Then also, if you give something, they will give you something. If you give more, you will receive more. This means generosity also very important. Then, what are this? The excellent body, excellent resource, excellent component. Then, the work that you are able to accomplish, are they enough? Or are they enough or not? No, right? What they said. Even though if you have four of them, it can be cause of afflictive emotions. It can be cause of attachment, desire, anger, hatred. You have excellent body, if you don't know how to use the excellent body, it can be cause of the problem. You have an excellent resource. You can see somebody has, a lot of resource. Using the resource, you can see the children are totally spoiled. Relatives are totally spoiled. Neighbors are spoiled. That means excellent body, excellent resource, not enough. Then we need to practice to another more. What are they? Meditated civilization and wisdom. Then you always have to be very mindful whatever you do. Always do with the mindfulness. Should I do or should not do? If I do, what will happen? If I should not do, what will happen? You must know what you are doing. Make sure you are doing the right things. You are able to do right thing if you are able to use your wisdom. Wisdom have different levels. Then if you are able to practice the 6 parameters, 6 paramita, you will have excellent, high status. That means you can have an excellent high life, human or celestial. Then Next is the fixed number of perfection based on fulfilling two ends. Right? So in order to fulfill your own achievement, you need to practice the 6 paramitas. In order to fulfill other other welfare, you need to practice 6 paramita. Now one by one. Now I'm going to stop a little bit here, because last time we stopped somewhere. What the generosity? This is where based on. Okay, here. Can you tell me the best number? There are 2 causes which is not overcome and arise from samsara. There are 2 causes which is not able to arise from the samsara, not able to overcome from samsara.
Is it attachment to resources and attachment to a home?
Okay, 109, right? Best number?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. 109, that's good. Yeah. Okay. This is so important, we must know. Furthermore, there are 2 causes of not initially transcending or arising above sacred existence. So, since we practice of Dharma, since we practice of Lamrim, we not able to transcend. We're not able to transcend from the sacred existence, right? No. Actually, let's say in the last, in the previous life, maybe in the previous life, like 10 times, let's say we were, we practiced Dharma. But why are we still in samsara? Why we are still in samsara? Why? Then there are 2 causes of not initially transcending or arising above sacred existence. Right? So what are the 2 causes? Oh, yeah. Attachment to the resource, attachment to the home. Home is referred to what? Where we were born. Because look at, actually, of course, everybody has attachment. Your own, condo, or your own, house. Then, of course, you have a strong attachment on Singapore. Somebody says Singapore is no good. You get upset, angry, right? That means you have a sense of attachment with your home. Home is referred to the where you were born. That means in order to, transcend from the sacred existence, we need to reduce attachment towards our resource, our home. These are the 2 main causes which are not initially transcending from existence. Then you may arise above the attachment once, but still turn back without reaching the end. That means, you try to practice Lamrim, you try to reduce the attachment. What is the remedy, right? Remedy of attachment. Huh? What? Okay. Attachment. Generosity. Okay. How you can generous your home, your nation? You cannot give your nation to other, right? You cannot. Generally, we can have an attachment to our resource. If you have very strong, attachment to your resource, then you need to reduce the attachment to your resource, right? Then, generally, what is the, remedy of attachment? I think everybody is shouting arrow in the darkness again. Look at compassion is the ready-made of anger. Then essenceless or ugliness. Let's say better to use the essenceless. Essenceless is the antidote of the attachment. Usually in book use the ugliness, but better to use the essenceless attachment. Even though you practice generosity, you reduce the attachment to your resource, or you practice the essenceless, you reduce the attachment to your home, right? Home, because then even though you may arise above this, you just you look like the bird, when the wing little bit develop, the bird fly little bit up, then fall down, right? Is fall over. Why? The little bird, they try to fly, then fly, few feet, then fall over, fall down. Why? No strong enough. So we are look like small bird, fly. Fly. Next, again try to fly, clap again, because we are not strong enough.
How does bring patriotism to your country?
Patriotism, yeah, okay.
And my Singapore, you are another country.
Look at, think about in the ancient time, look at the bird. They can fly from here to Malaysia, Singapore. They don't need any visa, passport. Right? They can fly very freely. Don't need any permission, don't need visa, passport ticket. They can go everywhere. Why we human need visa? Singapore need visa, like permit, passport to cross Indonesia and Malaysia? Because the boundary. This is my nation, this is your nation, this is, everything just created by our human society. Then, in order to protect, your country, you need to develop certain ideology, right? Ideology. That means your patriotic. Look at, it's so important as a Buddhist, as a belief in next life. Now, you are Singaporean. You have a very strong concept. Responsibility, protect your country. You don't want to give any benefit to other country. Next life, you were born in Malaysia or Indonesia. Then what will happen? You cannot get the benefit from Singapore. You cannot get because you had done in the past, right? That means you are cutting your benefit in your previous life. That means when you practice, generosity, great compassion, there's no boundary. You can practice compassion equally all sentient beings. That's why there's no really, boundary. Thus, even though you practice the generosity, reduce the attachment, but you cannot really, you may arise above this attachment once, but still turn back without reaching the end, right? Because there are two causes. What are they? Two causes. Because being and then becoming dispirited, and the length of time you have pursued virtues. That means, look at, you practice generosity. That means you are reducing your attachment, but you are still not able to go end of the samsara, because you are not able to practice the patience. Because somebody did something wrong you, what will happen? You get angry and upset, right? You get angry and upset. That means you just flying somewhere, then you hit the rock, Then after you hitting the rock, what happened? You will fall over, fall down. That means you practice generosity, you reduce the attachment, you don't have really attachment. Then somebody say bad thing to you, somebody do really bad thing you, what do you get? You get angry. You are angry. Then you lose the generosity. That's why saying here, suffering from the wrongdoing of living being. If some living being, this is really wrong to you, then you become angry, becoming desperate. The length of time. Then somebody say, are you really want to achieve Buddhahood? Yes, you say, yes, I want to achieve Buddhahood. Then say, if you really want to achieve Buddhahood, you will take time. What are you going to say? It's okay. It will take time. It's okay. It's okay. It take time. It's okay. Not only taking time, you will take 1,000,000 years. Then you say, too long, right? Too long. That's why, because you are not enough patience, right? If you are enough patient, somebody say, it takes 10 years. You say, okay, I can do practice. It takes 1,000,000. It's okay. I will practice. I don't care the time, right? Otherwise, if you don't practice, the generosity or lamrim, you are in samsara forever. That means you practice generosity. If you don't practice patience, then you cannot go further. That means you are flying. Then you hit your head on the rock. The rock is look like anger. So in order to reach the rock, then you need to practice patience. Then there's no anger, right? The remedies of these are the patience and joyous perseverance. So if you practice patience, then there are no any anger. If you practice the joy perseverance, you don't care the length of the time. That means you need to practice generosity, you need to practice patience, you need to practice joy perseverance. You can see in your life the people who are very patient about doing something, doing business, reading books, whatever. If the people do with a very patiently, finally the person can get the final destination. They can get the achievement, right? If the person not patient, you can see, some of your relatives' children, they want to do, say, I want to be doctor. The few days they really study like a maths, like a non-medical. Then they change their mind. So it's so difficult. I want to be professor, right? Then few months they said, it's so difficult. Finally, the children cannot get anything. So, in order to achieve Buddhahood, you need to practice patience. Be patient. Doesn't matter, how much difficulty I will face. Still, can be patient. Patience is so important. If you don't have patience, then what will happen? You get angry very easily. When you get angry destroys what? Compassion expresses all the merit, all the virtues destroyed by anger. That's why patience is one of the best practice of Bodhisattvas. Anger is the worst enemy of the Bodhisattvas. Patience. Then once you joy perseverance. Still, once you understand how to sustain the disregard of all suffering and harm, as well as enthusiasm, which is view even the intentionally eternally do. Yeah, this means you need to practice what? First, we explain practice generosity, practice of patience, practice of joy, perseverance. Next, once you understand how to sustain a disregard of all suffering and harm, that's why when if somebody harm you, you feel so angry. if you know how to, disregret, somebody harm you, somebody, punch you a little bit, you don't have any regret. There's no any anger to someone, right? Then if you don't have any regret about kind of problem, suffering, then you're able to practice patience. So, in order to do this, you must practice patience. Patience is so important in order to practice Lamrim. As well as enthusiasm, which is once a day. You must practice them in the virtuous way. If you do this, you will produce the patience and joyous perseverance that are capable of functioning the remedies to what caused you to turn back. That means the number one, we are not able to transcend from samsara because attachment. Why we have attachment? We're not able to practice generosity. Even though you're able to overcome little bit from samsara, but you turn back because you're not able to practice patience and joyous perseverance. Right? In order to practice two of them, in order to avoid the two causes, then you practice the patience and joy perseverance. The next one here, because of you turn back, they are the extremely crucial. Never mind the matter of the Bodhisattva or this, even the regret of the present, there's a forbearance. There are two causes of letting you to virtues go to west. Oh yeah. Then next one here, these are the result of there's no putting into practice the personal instruction associated with the patience and joy perseverance. Then there are two causes of letting your virtues go to waste, even if you do not turn back after a while. That means you practice generosity, you practice patience, you practice joy perseverance, even though you're not really turning back to the samsara, back to after a while. Whatever your intention do not stabilize on the virtues. That means you are able to practice the three pranjana paramita, but if your mind is not stable on concentration, then again you cannot further go for your practices. That means you need to practice the concentration. Otherwise, if you're not able to concentrate about your practice, that means you're wasting the virtues. Your virtues go west. That means, for example, you just reciting the mantra, you're doing some chanting without having any concentration. You just blah 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 blah. You are reciting a lot of things. That means you are totally wasting the virtues. You cannot get the virtues. That means you must fully concentrate about your practices. Then, yes, you can practice, generosity, patience, joy, perseverance, and mindfulness. If you're not able to practice wisdom, then what will happen? If you're not able to practice wisdom, then you don't understand which is you must adopt, which is you must not adopt. That means you have been doing so wrong thing for whole life. Then there's no any result. That's why we consider we just think we just say we are Buddhist. We are Buddhist. We are Mahayana Buddhist. Not only Buddhist, we are Mahayana Buddhist. Are we doing the right thing every day? Are we our thoughts are always right? No. We believe in Dharma, we practice Mahayana teaching, but our actions in 80% are wrong. Our way of thinking 80% are wrong. That's why wrong, because we don't use the wisdom. We don't practice the wisdom. That's why we put a lot of effort to the wrong cause and condition. we're not able to put effort in the right cause and condition. That's why we're not able to achieve anything. So, in order to practice the right dharma, we must practice the 6 paramitas. Okay, so this is kind of the short revision. The number of observations 6 based on the faith that they are the foundation of the achieving every quality of the Buddha. Okay, next, now the actual class. Yeah, it's quite long. I have to be long because you don't remember everything. Okay, now I ask you to do kind of the homework for the 2 chapters, right? Chapter 1 about generosity, second is ethical discipline. Okay. Okay, we just follow the heading. The process of learning the perfection is a true. How to train in the Bodhisattva this in general, and particularly how to train in the last 2 perfections. Okay, last 2 perfections. So I will spend more time with the last 2 perfections. Then within the one, how to train the Bodhisattva this in general is a 2. Training in the perfection that mature and quality you will have when you becoming Buddha. Training in the 4 way to gather discipline, the helping other to mature. 2 are so important. Look at training in the perfection that mature the quality you will have when you become a Buddha. Okay, so you need to practice the 6 paramita to mature yourself. So we are not saying you need to practice 6 paramita in order to mature other. Because before you train, completely train other, first you must completely train yourself. That means in order to train your mind, first you practice 6 paramitas. If you fully practice 6 paramitas with the bodhicitta and emptiness, then you fully, becoming Buddha. That means you're going to achieve your own welfare, the complete welfare. Then, training in the 4 ways to gather disciples. They help others to mature. What are the 4 ways to gather disciples? What are the 4? We already study. Generosity. Okay. Practice of generosity. Then second one, pleasant speech. Pleasant speech. Number 3, okay, yeah. Number 3. Number 4,
Consistency of
behavior. Okay, very good. you are looking at the note, which is good. Okay, just look at. Let's say you are teacher. You are very qualified teacher. You are qualified teacher. You learn everything since you in school. You completely graduate. You are very trained, very qualified teacher. So you are teacher. You are qualified teacher. You need disciples. You need students, right? How you can gather students? First, you just make a friend. Bring for dinner and lunch and coffee. Make a friend. First, just generosity. Then, you are always giving food and coffee to others. But you are speak very harshly. People won't come every day, right? If the people is very hungry, they will come. But normally people won't come. That's why first you practice generosity, gather the disciples or students or friends and speak very nicely. Let them happy. Let them happy. What do you need to speak? Yeah, just when they gather together, have a coffee and have a food, give money for tea and coffee, then you just explain little bit dharma. You should not say dharma, explain little bit good things. Say, hey, you should not drink alcohol, you should not drink, you should not smoke too much. Or you have to be very honest, this thing. In order to, convince them, what you need to do. Then number 3. Right, number 3. What is the number 3? What does mean? So whatever you say, you act. Look like, you act. What you will say to other, you must accordingly. Then people convince about you. There's other 4. So among the 4, the generosity include into what? Of course, in the generosity include into the generosity, first one. The second, third, fourth include where? Those are the kind of methods. Those are the methods of the 6 paramitas. That means speak nicely. What? Speak nicely about the 6 paramitas. Not only speak 6 paramitas, also you act accordingly. Right? That means 3 of are the methods to explain the 6 paramita. That means 3 of include into the 6 paramitas. Okay. That means there's a true, right? Training in the perfection, the mature, the qualities you will have when you become a Buddha. Now, how to train the profession of generosity? How to train in the profession of ethical discipline? That means there are 6. Now we go directly to the generosity. What generosity is? How to begin the development of generosity? The division of generosity. Summary. Okay, without your looking book, what does mean generosity? What does mean generosity? Huh? Yeah.
The state of mind motivated by the intention to give with no attachment.
Okay, generosity. Okay, generosity. What is the definition? What does mean generosity here? Yeah, text. According to text, always.
One's disinterest, non-attachment in own possession of things, and the willingness to give unconditionally.
Then there's 2 other things. Body. Yeah. Yeah. Physical and verbal. Physical and verbal. Like generosity means. It doesn't mean, practice of generosity means you have to give everything. It's not the meaning. That means you should not have any attachment towards your object. You able to give. Right? Here, look at. What is the nature of generosity? It is the intention accompanying Bodhisattva distaste, non-attachment to all their possessions, their body, and motivated by this, the physical and verbal actions of giving the things to giving, right? That means generosity is the action of physical and verbal. Physical means physically you need to give things to others. That means, for example, you have house, you have everything, but this means in your deep down, in your heart, you are able to give everything to others. How you able to give? At least if you have not any non-attachment or the object, you are able to give. For example, you have an extra kind of say extra things which you haven't used for many years, right? Then somebody asks to give it, you will give it, because you are not using. For you become very useless. That means you don't have any attachment about to give. Yeah, that means make sure you must know the meaning of generosity. Okay, this is what is the generosity. Then how to begin the development of generosity? Focus on what are they?
Your body, your resources, and your roots of virtue of the past, present, and future.
Okay. So, how do, for example, I know, let's say, I know the meaning of generosity, but I don't know how to, develop, how to begin the development of generosity, how I can really develop our day-to-day life practice of generosity, how? Then, yeah, that's good, yeah. Let's say, I have a very important object. I thought it's so important. Somebody asked to give it to someone. Somebody asked me to give it, but I cannot, because I have a very strong attachment. So how I can begin to develop the thing to give others? We need to think two ways. What are they? Benefit of giving, and then faults of not giving. Okay, benefit of giving and faults of not giving. Then there are so many, explain a lot of benefit. Here simply destroying the all stinginess in regard to your body and resource, not the perfection of generosity. That is so important to know. Simply destroying all stinginess regarding your body resource. It is not the perfection, not the generosity of perfection. For stinginess include within the attachment are so even the two kinds of Hinayana or Hat have totally eliminated it along with its seeds. Clear? Can you read one more sentence? Simply destroying, right? For when you're able to practice generosity completely, first you need to eliminate the stinginess. It is just enough. It is the complete practice of generosity, perfection. No, it's not, because here two kinds of Hinayana or Hats have totally eliminated it. What eliminated? Stinginess along with its seeds. This means, Arhat, hearer and solitary realizer Arhat, totally eliminate the stinginess and the seeds, but they don't have, the perfection of generosity. Then, what is the differences, the two of them? Then, what is the required then? Is that you not only clear away stinginess, right? Then typhusness, which preventing giving things away, but also that you develop from the depth of your heart that intention to give away to other all your possessions. For this you have to meditate on the faults of holding on to things and the benefit of giving them away. Right? That means even though you don't have any stinginess of typhusness, it doesn't mean you're able to practice one of the perfection, which is the generosity of perfection. How what does mean able to complete practice of generosity. That means you don't have any kind of sense of stinginess and tightness, as well as your deep of your heart, you're able to give everything to others. If you have this kind of mind, that means you're able to practice, profession of generosity. For this, in order to have this kind of practice, what you need to do, you need to do two things. What? You have to meditate on force of holding on to the things, then of giving them away. Always think about the benefit of giving away, force of the holding on the things. Then we go all the way. If you decide from the depth of your heart or root of virtues, however great. So, okay, based on your homework, what are the faults of not giving things? What are the benefit of giving things to away? Right? Huh? Look at here. There's so many quotation. So, if you hold, you don't give anything to others to benefit others. If you just hold everything in as your things, so while you are alive, there are so many problems, right? So many problems. Even though you don't want to give away, you want to hold everything, hold on it. But when you die, you have to leave everything behind you, right? Behind you. That means if you keep hold on this thing, that means you have an attachment, then you have a desire, somebody take away, you get angry. That means you really looking more and more, adding more and more, more and more. So you never be happy in this life. So if you keep hold this object in your, always in hold, then while you're dying, so difficult. One hand, you can see your belongings. On other hand, you can see you are dying. The doctor cannot save you. You ask to do a lot of puja. The puja, medicine, doctor, everything become kind of useless for you. Then you have a very kind of strong dilemma in your mind, right? You think about this way, all the belongings here. If you think other way, you can see you are nearly dying. Then your mind fully hold on the object. Then you have a lot of strong attachment, maybe anger. Then you will take a rebirth in the lower realms. Do you remember the story of one of the Sangha? At the Buddha lifetime, there was a big snake. The snake always come around the monastery and sleep in the begging bowl. Always come around and sleep in the begging bowl. The monks was very surprised. They asked Buddha, what happened? The Buddha said the snake was a monk who belonged to the begging bowl. So before he passed away, he has a strong attachment with the begging bowl. So he take a snake, they always stay in there. That's why you can see the attachment. The benefit, that means there are so many benefits you can read as a homework. Okay, we can have a short break. Then you finally think, the Buddha, Shakyamuni, Maitreya Buddha, all the Buddhas achieve Buddhahood because of practice of generosity. And also, giving things away a bit difficult, but if you compare the consequence of giving things away and the consequence of giving things away and things, if you compare two of them, then you can see, big difference. For example, if I give these fruits to someone, with the good motivation, just have a strong motivation to benefit others. These are simple fruits, right? If you give away this to others with the good motivation, the result will be much bigger than the fruits. So we have to learn slowly how we should things give away. So before you things give away, you should think I should give or not. Just contemplate between the benefit of giving, the faults of not giving. Okay, this is how. The second important one here mentioned, the page number 117. 117. Okay, now you must remember everything, having coffee. Okay, look at here, very important, page number 117, after the quotation. If you dedicate from the depth of your heart all roots of virtues, however great or small they may be, for the sake of accomplishing both temporarily and ultimate extensive benefit and happiness for all living beings. This is so important words, how we do the dedication. Look at, if you dedicate from the depth of your heart, fully, just from your heart. For example, you do some chanting, then we believe we accumulate the merit, the root virtues. So you use the root virtues, it doesn't mean there's a branch virtues. Because in Tibetan language we say, Gewe Tsawa. Gewa is virtues, Tsawa is root. The meaning is same, virtues. There's no any extra meaning. Gewe Tsawa. Virtues. However, like great or small, doesn't matter the virtues is small or the virtues is great, big. They may be for the sake of accomplishing the both. What are the both? What are the both? Really and ultimate extensive benefit. That means temporarily benefit, ultimately benefit. Benefit for whom? All living beings. Look at that means when we say, as a dedicate your merit, you just think, I will dedicate this merit, these virtues to benefit all sentient beings, be happy, have a healthy life, happy life. Is temporarily. Ultimately, I will dedicate this merit to be Buddha, to benefit all sentient beings. Right? Then when you say all sentient beings, also include your parents, your relative. You don't need to worry. You need to do the separate dedication. So this is important. Doesn't matter big, small or great. But you should think for the sake of, accomplishing temporarily happiness, temporary benefit, ultimate happiness, ultimate benefit for all living beings, and then give something, you obtain the merit related to the each living beings. That means when you dedicate the merit for all living beings, so how many living beings are there? It's countless. Then you can receive countless merit because the living beings are countless. You easily complete the collection of the merit, right? Happiness, living being, and the giving something, you obtain the merit related to the each living beings. Hence, you easily complete the collection of merits. Look at accumulating merit is very simple if you know how to do practice. So each day after you finish your practice, finish your recitation, chanting, for some of you work in the office, some of you work for the company, some will work in your, for your children, your family, relatives. Just, generate the good motivation. After you finish your work, dedicate the merit to benefit all sentient beings temporarily and ultimately. This has been teaching how much we dedicate. So next, Then is when you there's nothing. So there's a lot of quotation. I'm not going to go. The next page number 119. After the quotation, there's a two quotation. The last one, compounding of the projection says after that, as present, your determination has not matured and is weak. You do not actually give away flesh. So practice within the practice of generosity is everything, giving away your belongings, giving away your life, giving away your body, it's everything include. But at the person right now, like us, our determination has not matured, and our motivation, our compassion is very weak. And you should not, you do not actually give away flesh. The flesh means your own flesh. If you try to give your flesh, out of compassion, it's good, but after a few weeks or a few hours, you get regret. You get regret. Also, you get angry towards the person. Then finally, you get angry about Lamrim. Or also, you get angry about Buddha. The story, nice story. In Tibet, there was a man. He was quite a wealthy family. He was very rich. So he read the life story of Lama and Milarepa. The life story of Milarepa. When he read this life story, he's really inspired him to practice Dharma. He thought, I should become like Lama Milarepa. Really inspired him, reading the books. Then he gave away everything, his house, belonging, everything gave away. He went for retreat. Then he was the retreat for a few weeks. Then he need to face a lot of the difficulties. So he finally he cannot bear all the difficulties. He came back. When he came back, the village there's nothing. He gave away everything: the house, animal, food, everything. Then what did he say? The beggar Milarepa make me beggar. Because Milarepa is look like totally beggar. He didn't have anything. A piece of cloth, one pot. He cooked the stink, the nettle grass. His food, the pot is his belonging, piece of cloth is his clothes. So one time his sister went to see him. He didn't have proper clothes. So the sister cannot see him, cannot meet him, so feel shy. This man Milarepa was totally look like beggar. Then he said, the beggar Milarepa make me beggar. He get angry on Milarepa. So after you study, Lamrim, after you learn little bit generosity, if you try to give your flesh, definitely you get angry about Lamrim. Should not. That means give a big, advice. Your determination has not matured. It is weak. You do not actually give away flesh. Extra flesh and life in so thing. So you have already mentally given your body to all being. You can give mentally, not practically. Okay, give mentally. That means you just, you know the practice of Che. They play the drum, right? Tibetan do Che. Drum. They play the bone. It's a horn. We call Che. So that time, most time, the practitioner have to go to the cemetery, night, then they do the church practice. That time he need to visualize, all the married field. He need to give his body. Then he need to visualize all the, spirit, ghosts. He need to visualize, he giving all his body. So you mentally, you can, practice of giving your flesh, your body, your life. But practically, you should not try. Based on what you need to learn, you must practice great compassion mentally after you become fully mature. For example, after you study Lamrim, after you listen the talk from certain master, talk from Dalai Lama, the talks, the teaching, totally inspire or practice compassion. You thought, oh, I want to practice compassion. I have compassion everybody. Then somebody comes, suddenly somebody comes. Can I have a money? Okay, yeah, you can have money. I'm practicing generosity. Can I have all your money? You can give all your money. This is not the right way. If your compassion become very mature, right? Mature, very stable, then you can give everything. You won't have any regret. Instead of having regret, you feel so joy, so happiness. That's why, the Bodhisattva just say, stay in meditation on the room. When he heard from the beggar asking something, the Bodhisattva feels so joy, so happy. It's a good opportunity to accumulate merit. He, happily give everything. When he heard somebody ask to something. For us, somebody asks you something, you feel happy or not happy? Some monks come to your home, ask donation, are you happy? Maybe not. Yes, maybe or maybe not. And some beggar come ask you to give a clothes, food is okay. If I ask you money, a lot of money, you won't happy. So we are, very fresh sprout, just growing from the ground. So we are very, beginner. So our mentality is not strong enough. So everything you practice mentally. Great compassion, patience, generosity. At the same time, you can at least, if you're not able to, practically not able to practice compassion, but all sentence, at least you must practice, practically compassion towards your families. Make sure your families, your brother and sister. Otherwise, look at, I have one friend, he's very young, he said, my parents are Buddhist, but I'm happy to go to church. Then I said, why? So Buddhist people are very narrow-minded. They talk so many things, great compassion, so and so, but they are not really compassionate. If I go in church, the people are very nice, very compassionate, very open mind. They never talk, you should not do, should do this thing. They say Buddhist people are very narrow-minded. They talk great thing. Practically, they don't do anything. He said, I'm Buddhist, my parents are Buddhist, I'm happy to go to church, not temple. Because we talk great compassion, all sentient being, but you don't have a compassion, your relatives, your friends. Right? We talk about, religious harmonies, but you don't have a harmonies in your family. Then your friend think very strange. He is Buddhist, he talking about great compassion. He don't have any compassion for us, families. That means, at the same time, you talk about great compassion for all sentient beings, all living beings. At the same time, practically, you do compassion towards your first relatives and friends and family. Slowly, you can extend. That's why this is very, important advice from Tsongkhapa based on the Sutra. Okay, next we go the actual one, page number 120. Okay, the division of generosity. Division. How everyone should practice it. This is talking about generally. Okay, how everyone should practice the generosity. Then division of generosity relative to the particular person. Division of actual generosity. That means once practice of generosity, everybody must do, no exception. The second type of generosity must do, relative to the particular person. Then actual division. Okay, here if you have done your homework, it talk about six characteristic or six kind of quality of practice of generosity. What are the six? Okay, very good. Everybody remember the numbers. 6. Okay, that's first look at how everyone should practice it. That means, okay, Asanga Mahayana component said that you practice generosity in association with the 6 supremacy, right? Yeah, supremacy. Okay, without looking your Lamrim, what does mean supreme basis? Supreme basis.
So your generosity is based on bodhicitta.
Okay, yeah. So you must, we are talking about, the perfection of generosity. So the person who practice the generosity, they must have the basis, which is bodhicitta. Must have a bodhicitta. So within the bodhicitta, then you can practice the generosity. The second one, supreme thing. What is the supreme thing?
The object you can do.
Yeah, you can read the sentence, then you try to understand the meaning. Supreme thing means there is generally you give all object that can be given, and even when you are engaged in the specific act of generosity, you do not give up the thoughts of giving away everything. Right? What does mean?
Just giving up for the sake of giving up. It's got
You can give, yeah.
without even thinking about it.
Not any thinking. He's saying here.
Things that can be given, but not things that shouldn't be given or can't be given.
So you can give, anything, right? You can give your clothes or food or medicine. You can give everything. Most importantly, you give without forget the thoughts, right? Which is the bodhicitta. Okay, so means that generally you give all object that can be given, and even when you are engaged in the specific act of generosity, you do not give up the thoughts of giving away everything. Okay, that means you do not give up the thoughts of giving away everything. So that means this is the supreme things, the supreme aim. There's a two types of benefit, temporal and ultimate. That means you must practice generosity based on bodhicitta. You must give things away without forgetting the thought of bodhicitta. Then you can give for what? The aim. Aim is benefit of all sentient being for temporarily and ultimately. The next one, supreme skill in mean. What does mean? What does mean? Okay, here look at. It is said to be when generosity is imbued, right, with the non-conceptual sublime wisdom. Beginning Bodhisattva should take this to be wisdom that know that the lack of intrinsic nature in an object.
So an understanding of emptiness.
Yeah.
Is that the understanding of emptiness?
Sorry?
So the understanding of emptiness.
Yeah. So that means, for example, I will give this object, having base of great bodhicitta. That means one, supreme of basis. I will give this object without, not forgetting the bodhicitta. And the third is supreme thing. This is, supreme thing. How is become supreme thing? Is very simple object, right? It's simple object. That means first you must know the emptiness of this object. Do you remember the three circles? Object, subject, action. That means when you give things, you are the giver. The person or the sentient beings are the recipient. This is the object which is giving. So when you give the things, you must remember, the emptiness of the three things: the giver, recipient, and the object. That means it's become, skillful means, right? Skillful means. Generosity is imbued with the non-conceptual sublime. That means if you give the object, having sense of clinging as a inherent object, that means you are not using the skillful means. Next one, supreme dedication, mean that you dedicate the virtues for generosity to complete the enlightened man. Look at, so when you do the dedication, dedicate to becoming enlightened man. The last one, what does mean purity? Supreme purity is when you stop both afflictive and cognitive obscuration. Is very important, okay? So this means all the Mahayana practices, all your practices, okay, any kinds of practices, simple practice or great practice, all practices must become, remedy, right? Remedies of one of the, affect emotion or obscurations. Make sure all your practices must become antidotes of any of the affect emotions, obscurations. That means, just use simply lead the light. When you lead the light, knowing the light is, their nature is emptiness. The light where you're offering to the field of merit, Buddha, Bodhisattva or whoever. You must know the field of merit is also emptiness. The person, yourself also, empty, knowing the emptiness. If you offer this light, having this kind of understanding, then you are using the, skillful mean. Also, it is the right remedy of the ignorance. Also, when you lead the light, having sense of great compassion, benefit all sentient beings, then also, you are using the skillful mean. Also, this become best antidote of attachment. That means all the practices must be antidotes, become antidotes of one of the affect emotions. That means, okay, now you know the affect emotions, right? Afflictive, and second one, obscuration. Okay, yeah. Stop both afflictive and cognitive obscuration. What is the differences between afflictive and cognitive obscuration? Afflictive and cognitive obscuration. Afflictive.
Afflictive is more emotion,
Mm-hmm.
and cognitive is more ignorance and obscuration.
Okay, that's very close. In Tibetan language, afflictive is called Nyönmong. Afflictive means when the mind, for example, attachment arises within your mind, suddenly make you, unhappy. Certainly makes you unhappy. We call afflictive. Nyönmong. That means all the negative emotions, attachment, anger, all of it include into afflictive minds. The obscuration, even though ignorance also include into afflictive. Ignorance, attachment, desire, had all of them include into afflictive emotions or afflictive mind. Obscuration is the imprint in your mind which is left by afflictive emotions. Clear? afflictive emotions are look like garlic. Garlic. Obscurations are the smell of the garlic. When you put the garlic in your cup, that moment top there, the garlic is there, the smell is there. That means, when you have an anger, attachment, you have afflictive emotions as well as you have a obscuration. When you take out, if you throw away the garlic, your garlic is not there, but smell is there like durian. Durian. Because Christina bought me durian yesterday, I ate, but my kitchen is still smelly. That's the obscuration. Obscuration. The smell lived by whom? Which? Durian. The durian wasn't there, but still smell there. Okay. So after you practice, emptiness for many years, you can eliminate the afflictive, but you still have the imprint of the afflictive emotions, obscuration. Obscure, but what does mean obscure in English language? Obscure means cover or block. At the moment, when you meditate on compassion, you can see the anger is going to reduce, becoming more weaker. We can have an experience. If I ask you, can you see like White House from here? Can you see it? You cannot. You can imagine, but you cannot see. Why you cannot see? There's an obscuration. The distance become obscuration. It's too long. We cannot see, right? Obscuration. That's why we call omniscient, right? Omniscient, like we believe, I say we believe when we become a Buddha, we believe, you can see everything because you eliminate the obscuration. Obscure to knowing all phenomena directly. Okay, obscuration. So this means, everybody, must remember the six supreme. What are six supreme? Supreme basis, supreme thing, skill in means, dedication, supreme purity. Purity means all your practice can be antidotes of afflictive and cognitive obscuration. Let me look at, even though when you see temple, you sometimes with the holy, like a full moon day or particular holiday, you go to see temple. Also, since you woke up, you have a motivation, right, to go to temple. Since you have a motivation, all the action and active must be antidotes of one of the afflictive emotions or obscuration. For example, when you walking towards the temple, you generate strong faith to Buddha Dharma. It's become antidotes of what? Ego. People who has a strong ego, they cannot have a respect to other, right? So doing prostration is the best antidote of the ego. For example, you can see who has an ego. Look at. When you have an ego, the head just rests up, right? Rests up. I'm famous. I'm rich. They never say, I'm famous, I'm rich. Rest up. Your ego becomes very strong. Let's say, I feel sorry. I really have a compassion. I have a compassion, right? Cannot. Compassion, when you practice compassion, your whole body like shrink. You become so peaceful, happy person. When ego arises, your whole body rests up. This means doing prostration, taking refuge are the best antidotes of ego and selfish. This means what I'm trying to say you, whatever you practice, try to practice to reduce the negative thoughts or obscuration. That means this is the main practice of Dharma, right? What Dharma teach you? Reduce all the thoughts, bad thoughts, and increase the good thoughts. That means you must remember the six superior. Because look at this one, how everyone should practice it. We are practicing Mahayana path. We are practicing Bodhisattva path. So when we practice generosity, we must have these 6. When we practice, ethical discipline, we must have this supreme basis, supreme things, supreme aim, supreme skill in mean, supreme dedication, supreme purity. So dedication, because every day we do dedication, don't forget the meaning of supreme dedications. Look at continuously saying here. Haribhata is one of the famous Indian master. That you practice generosity with the 6 perfection percent. That means when you practice generosity, 5 other perfection must involve, associate. Okay. When you practice generosity, you cannot practice generosity alone. You must try to associate other 5 perfection with the practice of generosity. Okay, generosity. Now you will learn here. When you are giving the teaching, you're talking about giving of. We have 2 types of giving: giving of material and giving of teaching. When you are giving the teaching, for instance, it is extremely powerful if you are practice all 6 perfections. So how we can practice 6 perfection together when you giving a teaching? Then here you have ethical discipline when you restrain yourself from the consideration of Sarvaka and Pratika Buddha. Sarvaka and Pratika Buddha. Consideration. Okay, so important. Do you understand the meaning? Right? You have ethical discipline when you restrain yourself from the consideration of Sarvaka and Pratika Buddhas. This means, for example, if I give a teaching, thinking of after I'm giving this teaching in order to become myself as a, like Buddha. That means my mind is more consideration about my own welfare, my own benefit. That time, I should know this kind of thing, I must stand this kind of, motivation. That means you are practicing ethical discipline. Patient, when you bear any hardship while you are aspire to the quality of omniscience, and when you are patient with the abuse from other, then so that when you are giving a teaching, you must have a right motivation to benefit all sentient beings. That means make sure. That's why Dalai Lama said many times, when you give a teaching, you should not mix your mind with the worldly concern. Worldly concern. What are they? Gain, loss, fame. Should not go. Oh yeah, praise our gain and loss, praise and shame. Oh no. Okay, in Tibet there was I think group chatting as a lay person. Then somebody asked, what are the 3 jewels? They say, okay, Manjushri, Mitra Buddha. That called 2 Buddha. Let's say 3 jewels, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. What are they? Oh, Mitra Buddha. Because in Tibet, Mitra Buddha is very famous. The Manjushri, they didn't remember one. Okay. They said, what are one? What is one? They say, oh, our neighbor's girl. Why? She's very famous. They said, she's very famous. They said, Mitra Buddha, Manjushri, our neighbor's girl. They count 3 jewels. They was, why she's 3 jewels? Because she's very famous. So you should not cut everything. Huh? That's been very good, First one, gain and loss. Name and fame and shame. For
Blame and praise.
blame and praise. Receive and non-receive. Right? Yeah, again. So that's mean. So Dalai Lama said, it's sometimes very difficult to giving pure teaching. Mean should not have those kind of add worldly concern. Somebody thought, oh, I'm giving teaching today. There are so many people. I become quite popular. That's mean thinking about the fame. Oh, today there are many people. I will have lot of red envelope. Then again, no pure teaching. Okay, that's why Okay, so you must. Okay, next time when you come back, you must learn how 6 paramita, practice simultaneously. When you practice generosity, 5 must include. When you practice patience, 5 must include. 5 must include. So it's already explained here. Okay, next. How everyone should practice it. Now, division of generosity relative to the particular person. That means everybody must practice generosity, which is at the 6 supreme basis. Now you're talking about division of generosity relative to the particular person. In general, it is said that lay bodhisattvas make gift of material things, and renounced bodhisattvas make gift of teaching. Let's say we have a 2 types of bodhisattvas: lay person bodhisattvas and renounced bodhisattvas. A lay person bodhisattvas must practice generosity, must must give things away. The monks should not when you're not saying should not practice generosity. You should not practice the giving of things away. That means what they can practice of generosity, which they can give a teaching. Okay, you look at. In general, it is said that lay bodhisattvas make gift of material things, and the renounced bodhisattvas make gift of the teaching. That's why in third tradition it said very nicely, the lay person give physical food to the monks. The monk must give the mental food for the lay person. It's very nice, right? The lay person can give food to the monks. They can sustain. The monk they don't have material to give to the lay person. What they can give? They give the mental food. Lay person give to the monk for the physical food. Right? So it's very nice way. That means same thing here. The monks, give a teaching. Then release. The next page 122. 122. The also Sharava said, I am not talking to you about the benefit of giving. I am talking to you about the faults of stinginess. So this means said by Sharava, the Tibetan, one of the very famous Lamrim practitioner. He said, I am not talking to you about benefit of giving. He said to the monks, I am not saying you benefit of giving because you don't have anything to give as a material. I am telling you what to you about the faults of tidiness, right? The stingy is similar. That means whatever you have, you should not have a sense of clinging on. But he never saying you must give practice of giving things away. This means generally, the monks or nuns must practice, generosity of giving teaching. giving advice, not practice generosity of giving material things. Then he mentioned it continuously because it is displacing new when renounce harm their ethical disciplines as they are the strength to the autonomous, they are search for wealth to give away. If the monk supposed to practice generosity of things giving away, then what they have to do? They have to collect so many things to give away. While they collecting so many things, also they can go lot of injure in the discipline ethic. So they say you should not. Then it continuously mentioned, I think in the previous, if you already have so many things as a monk, and if you have already so many things due to your previous karma, you must practice the generosity of giving things away. You should not clinging on. Okay, next one, division of actual generosity. How many are there? Three. What are they? Gifts. Okay, that means give of the teaching, give of the fearlessness, then material gifts. There's a three order, right? The best giving is the teaching. The second is less superiors, which is the give of the fearless. Third one, material gifts. Okay, without looking your Lamrim, what is the give of teaching? Dharma? Teaching of giving the teaching of Buddha. Just that's it? That means I don't think everybody read very precisely. Here, the gift of the teaching is teaching the sublime teaching without making mistake, teaching the arts and the art and the like worldly conception, which is a blameless and the proper to learn, involving other in the upholding fundamental precept. Right? This means you can give teaching as a gift. Also, you can give knowledge. You can teach arts. You can teach math and science. Also, include into give of teaching. Also, as a monk and nun, they give vows. Also, include into give of teaching. Second, give of fearless. What does mean? Giving of protection. What does mean? Or saving of life. In Singapore, fish liberation is very nice. Look at fear. Look at give of fearlessness. That means we call in a Tibetan we call so gijimpa, giving of life, giving of life. So, for example, you have a very good tradition to have a fish liberation. So when the fish are in the fish farm, we really don't know the fish really have a sense of fear or not. They feel bit, the place is very narrow. They cannot move freely everywhere. But I'm not sure they have a really fear of killing. I don't think so. Do you think?
Those that in the restaurant, seafood restaurant, with the small tanks, I think they have that sense that they are being scooped up.
How do you know?
You can see them frantically.
Maybe they can think I'm swimming in the water, they are swimming in the oil. Yeah.
The lobsters and the crabs that are tied, they must have a thing.
When they try, I know they're tied with the hands and legs. I know the place next to the river. Okay. What the place name? Marina Bay. There's a rivers coming. Along the river side, there's a long hot. No. like the book, there are so many restaurants along the preserved river, right? They put a lot of, the fish and the crabs, everybody tried with the thing. Yeah, they feel really, fear. But anyway, giving life is like giving, doing the fish liberation are included into giving, life. Okay, next. The gift of fearless. The gift of the fearless is the, protecting living being from the fear of humans such as a king and the robbers. From the fear of non-human beings such as the lion, tiger, and crocodile, and from fear of the elements such as water and fire. That means we can give a lot of, giving of life, fearless. The next one, material gifts. He says how many divisions? 2. What are they? Generosity of actual giving material things. The generosity which is just mental. Okay, so this one important. You must, learn by sentence, the sentence by sentence. You don't have to remember all the words. You must remember, the 6, supreme, right? Superior basis. Then you must remember the definition or the meaning of generosity. Then you must remember how to dedicate the merit. You must remember when you need to practice the generosity. Then, there are 3 types of giving. So within the 3 types, material, there's 2 types. Actual giving, the material, or mentally giving. So how to give away material things? He says 3. What are they? How to give away material things, then what to do if you are unable to give. The relying on the remedies for the hindrance or to generosity. Very important. So everybody must remember, all the hindrance and sub one. Now the next one, how to give away the material things. It has 4 subheadings. What are they? Giving, motivation of giving, how to give, thing to give. Okay, so you must remember the headings is very important. Recipient. Sum Ji Kang Jing. So this means, so when you practice of generosity, you must recognize whom you give, right? Whom you give. This means first you're talking about the recipient of giving. For example, someone always want to drink alcohol. They ask you to give money. If you give money, the money will they misused having alcohol. That means you should not give the money to people who always drink alcohol. That means recipient of giving. You must recognize whom you should give. The second one, the motivation for giving. This maybe we can learn. The third one, how to give, right? The last one, what things you must give, what things you should not give. First has a tense. What is the number first? The recipient of giving. It has a 10. What are they? Okay. Just count one by one. Number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 5. Number 6. 5, 6, 7. Okay. Yeah, number 1, friend and relative. Number 2, enemies, harm. Number 4, ordinary people, have. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. You. Number 7. Equal to you. Number 8. Number 9. Number 10. Okay, can you count without looking the Lamrim? Everyone. No everyone. No everyone. Not, this in particular talk about tens, friends and relatives, okay. Enemy must give, ordinary people who neither harm nor help you, the normal person. Number 4, those with good qualities such as the ethical discipline. This means, you must offer the things to, for example, monks and nuns who are ethically disciplined. Number 5, those with the faults such as the faulty and ethical discipline. So now you okay. Today we have a long number. Number longer is the 10. Then number 6. So when when you practice generosity, so whom I must give things to, then you remember all that 10 types of of offering. We can say 10 types of field, right? Field we call, and Buddha's merit field, or sentence be also merit field. Why use the merit and field? Merit field. When we grow something, what we need? We need a field, we need a ground, we need a land. Without land, you cannot grow anything. So in order to accumulate merit, in order to practice generosity, we need a field. Field can be Buddhas, field can be sentient being. So when you practice of generosity, offering the lives, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas are the merit field. Or when you practice generosity, giving things away to others, it can be sentient beings. Okay, field. You must recognize the 10 types of field. Then the motivation. The motivation for giving has 2 sections. What kind of motivation is required? What kind of motivation must be eliminated? It's very precise, It's precise. It teaches you exactly how you must practice the generosity. What kind of motivation you must have, what kind of motivation you should not have. This means what kind of motivation is required. Your motivation should have 3 attributes. What are 3? Purpose, focus on the thing to giving, then focus on the recipient. Very important, right? Focus on the purpose, why you are giving. Then focus on the thing, what are you giving? Which thing are you giving? Then whom you are giving. Okay, that means focus on why you are practice, why you are giving, whom you to give, what thing you can give. So okay, we can stop here. So okay, so we spend one more day for the generosity. Okay, next time. So since from the page number, taking the vows position, everybody must remember from page number 114, 1 to 3 as a revision. Then we can finish the generosity. Okay, then we will. I think we will spend 2 classes of each perfection. Then lastly, we spend maybe few classes about the last 2 perfection. Within the 2, I think we spend more time about the wisdom. Okay. So thank you so much for attending the Lamrim class. Then we can do the dedication prayers. You must remember how to dedicate.